Alright, welcome to the channel, everybody. We're taking out Ashley's bike today at the local trailhead at Cherokee, place I ride all the time. But I'm gonna take it easy because I haven't ridden a hardtail in a very long time. So we'll see how it goes, and I've promised Ashley I will not break her bike. Alright, we're getting ready to take the hardtail out on the trailhead here at Cherokee Park in Louisville, Kentucky. This is, man, I ride here a lot. So this is like kind of my local haunt, I guess you'd call it. It's a pretty good XC type trail system. Not real fast, but lots of roots. No real big drops or anything, just kind of a good all around trail system. So the bike is definitely a little small for me. So this is gonna take some getting used to, but man, this thing turns quick. I haven't ridden a hardtail in years. Last hardtail I had was a, speaking of budget bikes, was a Moto Bacane Phantom 29 that I bought from Bikes Direct way long ago. Probably like 2012, something like that. It was a good bike for what it was back then, but didn't do much. I can already tell you, this thing, it's a climber, that's for sure. It's so funny, I'm used to my big enduro bike in here, which is really way overkill for this trail system. So now we're getting to the first downhill section, and I'm going to stay true to my word and not be too crazy in here. I don't want to tear up my wife's bike. It's not working too bad, that Sid fork up front. It's working pretty good. These Zoom brakes they're not the strongest feel, I will say. You know, of course, I'm used to Shimano XT quad pistons, so it's not going to be the same feel, but they're powerful, but they're just not grabby quite like what I'm used to. That's a big drop. I usually blast that thing. Well, it ain't a big drop, but it's a rough one. Nothing in here is too big. Here's where all the tire getters are. All right. So far, I'm pretty impressed. It's definitely interesting to ride a hardtail again, especially in here on trails that I know like the back of my hand. I mean, I ride in here a lot. How's it going, man? This is definitely my local haunt. Probably riding here 3-4 times a week when it's dry. This is the first place that dries out in Louisville, so usually this is where everybody goes, especially this time of year when we're getting rain all the time. Lots of trail runners. Coming up. All right. Thanks. So usually right here, I'd be doing that big drop, but I'm not going to do that on the wifey's XC bike. So far, I'm pretty impressed. All right, and that's the first section of Cherokee. All right, back into the woods. Alrighty. There we go. That $40 SLX drivetrain is working well. Part of me feels like it's just better than my brand new SLX I have on my Ripmo. It's crisp. Hear a little bit of chain slap back there, even though I've got the clutch on. I just don't have any protection on the frame. So that's probably why we're hearing that. A little bit of rattling back there. You know, so far in here at Cherokee, I think this is about all the bike you need. Unless you really want to start blasting some of these rooty sections. Tell you another thing I'm noticing is, so my Ripmo has 800 mil bars, and this bike has got 780s on it, which are probably a little too wide for Ashley, my wife, but I can already tell in here, I definitely think it's beneficial to shave down from 800. My bike's a little wide. There's some spots in here. There's some spots in here that are definitely narrow. I'm loving this thing. I might have to build me a hardtail just for riding around the year. So we're coming up to Cochrane Fountain Climb in Cherokee. There's not a lot of huge climbs in here. We are in basically downtown Louisville almost. But this is probably one of the bigger ones. I used to think when I first started riding here, this was so hard. Now, it's not too bad. There's some. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you?
Good. There's some pretty good roots up here. I'll be interested to see how hardtail goes over them. My Ripmo eats them for lunch, but this thing, I don't have those big 2.6 tires either. I'll do some heavy breathing. I'll talk to you at the top. Oh, it did no problem. This is the first short downhill we've got. This one's decently smooth, so we'll see how this little XC bike rips. Really liking the stiffness. Man, that corner's good. Actually, corner's amazingly. This bike, it's so light, nimble. You forget what hardtails feel like. Going up on somebody. Coming up. Thanks, man. Morning. Oh, all right. Man, this bike's awesome. $289. This thing is an absolute rocket ship. Oh, it's so good. For smooth stuff like this is all you need, man. I like that planted feel a lot. Okay, we're coming up on the really sucky climb. This is maybe the worst. This sucks. A lot of roots on this bad boy. These trails have been here for a long time, so they have taken a lot of abuse over the years. Let's try that lockout. All right, we got the fork locked out now. We're fully rigid. Holy shit, this thing eats. Oh my God. Drop some gears. Oh my God, this thing's a dream. I do apologize, guys. I've never ridden mountain bikes with a GoPro on before, so I apologize if I'm boring the shit out of you. But I mean, this bike, I cannot believe how well it performs for the little amount of cash that I've got in this thing. I mean, I've really built the wifey a rocket ship here, man. Shit, I kind of like it myself, to be honest. All right, this is a little more fun downhill section. Get around this runner up here. Coming up. Help. Coming up. Help. Excuse me. Hello? Yo. Oh, sorry. All right. That's why I don't like people with headphones on. See a lot of that in here. Brakes are pretty good, man. Zooming. Honestly, shouldn't mind honk like a fucking duck through here. These things are nice and worn in, and this thing rips, honestly. I'll be interested to see what my Strava times are versus riding my big enduro through here. I mean, really, I am probably overbiked for the area, but when I go other places, the rip mo's perfect. All right, this is locally known as No Net, and it is the most technical part of Cherokee. Lots of big roots and some rocks that you got to get over. A lot of beginners skip this place when I take them here. They'll skip this part of the trail. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest, but sometimes crossing those roots and some of these little rock rolls we have up here can sketch them out, but just walk them, man. This is a pretty rough one here. See how the hardtail does it. On my Ripmo, I blast that. I got 2.6 tires on that thing, you know, so, and 160 millimeters of travel. So that thing eats that stuff up. This one I'm doing with 100 up front, and we got two, I believe these are like 2.25s. don't even remember what size they are. Maybe 2.4s. I don't know, but they're definitely smaller. Faster. Even faster than my Recons. So I'm impressed so far. Here we go. This is the test up here. A little rock ledge. 1, 2, no big deal. I don't know if I'm gonna give this thing back to her. It's fun in here. I think I might have to build me a hardtail just to train on when I'm in here. That corner is so tight on the Ripmo. Not really an issue on this one. Eating. This is the hardest one to clean for me. The Ripmo eats it up. Holy shit! This bike's incredible. I wonder what this bike would have been like in stock form with, from circa 2009. I'd love to have had it both ways, just to test what these upgrades really were, how beneficial they were. Dare we attempt Seneca? We dare, we dare. We are going to the Seneca portion of the trail system here. And Seneca, or aka the Wilderness Loop, is pretty tech. That's kind of what this thing was made for, honestly. So we'll see how she does. I'll skip ahead until we get to the trailhead. Okay, coming into the Wilderness Loop. This little climb is a tight little bastard, especially on the Ripmo. So now that we're on the small little Fuji, let's see how this thing does. Roots. Holy crap, this thing climbs. You just forget how good hardtails can be. There's definitely a place for them, and it's not just for beginners. All right, dropping into the main Wilderness Loop. This place is roots galore. I used to hate this trail, but I'm starting to like it now. It's beginning to be one of my favorite spots. Not a lot of people in here usually. Hardtail root out there. Big roots. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey.
I just can't believe, for the money, how good this bike is. This is a legitimate mountain bike here, man. I can definitely feel that some of that big chunky stuff, you lose a little more momentum. It's just because we got smaller tires and less travel, so there's less soaking going on. Soaking up, rather. But he's got power through it. All right, big. We got a cool little rock climb coming up here. Can you see why they call this wilderness loop? You'd never know you're in Louisville, Kentucky. It is dense back here. And this has been trimmed. I've taken buddies back here and they've gotten so mad at me. One buddy, Chubbs, if you're watching, he came back here for his first time, and about halfway through, it was probably 100 degrees out that day. He threw that bike down and said, "Fuck y'all." He rides it all the time now, though. Just takes practice. But this place, beginning of summer, before they do trimming, believe it or not, this has been trimmed. It's like, oh man, I call it a sweat box, but it's claustrophobia inducing back here. It can be. Definitely got some chain slap happening. Might have to put a pad on there to quiet that down. If this thing was tubeless like I had planned originally, and I was able to get a lighter back wheel, this thing would be epic. I mean, it's great the way it is. You could tell this was a pretty nice bike back in the day. The geometry is definitely, aged, but for this kind of trail, I mean, this trail's aged. So it's not wide open. This bike and these trails were made for each other. Ooh, hard shift. That was my bad. So, if you're coming to Louisville, or you want to, and you think about bringing your bike, you might as well. We got some pretty decent trails around here. This is like the most popular. I'm a little winded, but it's not necessarily the best. It's just the... Oh, he drives out first. But if this doesn't look like your cup of tea, you want something a little flowy, check out Brown County, Indiana. It's not too far from here. And some really great flow trails there. Great jump trails, and also hardcore XC. It's got pretty much it all. Or abandoned woods in Corden, Indiana. Super tech, big drops, jump lines. Those are two great places. They're just a little wet today. And we've got Turkey Run, which you saw if you hadn't. My wife Ashley did her first ride on this bike there. I got a short little video of that I'll link up above here. You can check that out. That one's a little more beginner friendly. This place may not look like it on the camera, but it scares the shit out of beginners. It's just really rooty, and for people that aren't used to riding over that stuff, it can be a little intimidating. It's not bad once you get going. It's totally fine. And this bike is well capable of tackling it, even harder than I am, but I don't want to tear it up. I just built it for the wife, so. This bike is incredible. It just keeps shocking me how good it is. So, obviously, yes, I do have only 289 bucks in this bike. I realize that not everybody's gonna be able to do it that way. I mean, not everybody's got, unless you got Humana insurance like I do, and you're on the Go 365 program. It's if you haven't seen that video on the build of this bike, check that out. I go into more detail on how I get those gift cards. And that's how I was able to build this bike so cheap. In all reality, I've got about 500 in it. So you factor that for a tenth of the cost of my Ibis Ripmo, you know, unless you're riding hard like I do on that bike, this is the only mountain bike you really need if you're just gonna, you know, do some XC riding, even heavy XC. This bike will do that. We're doing it right now. Doing a great job. It's basically a $500 bike with, you know, Chinese parts from Amazon, some from local bike shops. Shout out N1, N+1 Bikes. Shout out Sean. He'll hook you up. He's got to be the best Ibis dealer in the country, and he's also carries some other stuff, Rocky Mountain and Cannondales. He's got a lot of bikes in there, so definitely check him out. He always hooks it up, and he's a solid dude. Now, obviously, you can buy a hardtail for 500 bucks new from places like Bikes Online or Bikes Direct, and even some local bike shops, but they're not going to be set up like this one. I mean, this has got a full 1x SLX drivetrain and air fork with a lockout. You're not going to get that on those bikes. Those new $500 hardtails. You're probably going to get a 3x, and you're going to get a shitty Sun Tour XCT fork, most likely. Grease fork. They're just horrible. All right, cheater line, let's do it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this thing climbs. Whew. With this bike for 500 bucks, it's really probably more like a comparable to a $1,200 bike, you know, as far as build goes. I'm gonna take her down the little berm line here. See how it is. It's pretty grown up right now. Yeah, a little slick and grown up in here. Whew. Oh my gosh. I've gotten through a jungle. I don't want to push it too hard. I hate to break this thing. You could, but me being 215 pounds, I don't want to push it that hard. Oh my God, what am I talking about? This thing, you can push it. It just soaked that up, no problem. I mean, this bike fucking rips. Woo! That is certainly the slowest I've ever went down that hill. All right, coming up to the golf course. Here we go. Rudy. Woo! I'm used to my rear suspension soaking that up. That's kind of an anal pounding. Whew. Guess you gotta stand more on a hardtail, huh? Even on the flats. All right, this is the flat section of the Seneca loop. Kind of a cool down. You can also park over there, across the bridge there and across the highway. People ride in from that side too. It's not my preferred way, but I just don't like ending on that wilderness loop because it's not the most fun. It's not bad, but it's more of a workout. I like ending the way we're going to because I get to end on the downhill. You gotta be careful down here. I've seen some people get fucked up on this little bridge down here. It can get slick. All right, these Zoom brakes, I can't believe how good they are. They have really good feel, honestly. Like, I think maybe I'm kind of breaking them in, but man, they're good for just a dual piston cheapo. This little tech climb up here can be difficult. It was on my 27.5. Since I've been on 29ers, it's not so bad. We'll see how this bike does on it. Up next to the tree. Oh no! I got a good bounce there. Rookie move. What an idiot. What an idiot. Haven't done that since I first started. That sucked. Glad that was on camera. All right, this next little section of trail is notorious with the KeStriegel family. I broke my back in here on my Mojo HD4 last year. when we get to it's towards the end of this trail where it happened. I'll show you where it happened, or at least I'll point it out when I roll over it. This is pretty rooty in here, and last year I was starting to attack it pretty hard on that Mojo, and maybe a little too big for the bike. It was a medium, and I think I needed a large. I think that may have equated to some of the issues, because I did wreck it a few times. It was a great bike, but I was ready to try a 29er, that's why I went with the Ripmo. But I was jumping this root section, and I just planted my front wheel right between two roots, and Endo City, right over the bars. I was probably going 20 or so mile an hour. And that fucking hurt. But funnily enough, my dad, Robbo, he just wadded his nuts in the exact same spot a couple weeks ago out here. He's all right. Luckily, it didn't hurt him. But it can bite you. And this bike's good. Right through here. I used to pop off of this and downside in there. And I flipped. That was bad. I legitimately don't want to give this back to my wife. Morning. Whew. On the road again. You know, while I'm cruising here, I want to talk about the local trails around here, because there have been some local mountain bike groups in Louisville, and a lot of people talk smack on them out here, and they say, oh, you know, don't move here if you're from out west and all this stuff. Trails are horrible and not what you're used to. But I mean, I would agree, they're certainly not the same, but I think they're just different. Actually, I've been out west. Recently just got back from Sedona, and I flew out there with my Ripmo, and it was fun. I think it would have been more fun had I had a group of guys with me, where we could have all tested each other, and you know. But when you're out there doing those big rolls by yourself and there's no one to see or congratulate you for cleaning it, I don't know. It's not the. It was fun, but it wasn't the most fun. Whew. Morning. Hey, morning, man. That guy just caught me talking to myself. He's probably like, whoa, that dude's a fucking psycho. Whatever. It does feel weird, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm fine to do it in my helmet when you're out here in the nature and talking to yourself. It's a little insane. Look how well balanced this bike is. Amazing. What I was saying, Sedona was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I loved riding out there, but it's big rolls, big drops, and honestly, the speeds weren't. I mean, there's faster places here. I felt like you go to Brown County, you know, you go 36 mile an hour on some of those downhills, some of those flow trails, and even faster. It's I think it's way more fun, but hey man, to each their own. All right, we're back into Cherokee now. I'm gonna finish out the last couple of little trail sections in here and meet back up with Ashley. Go home and watch some Redbud motocross racing. Pretty excited. Play some Pulp MX Fantasy. all that jazz. Gotta get her pics in. My wife, Ashley, she kicks my ass in fantasy, believe it or not. And she didn't pay to join the league this year. Good morning. Oop. It's all right.
Yeah, a little stubborn stuff.
Oh, I just got done training my coonhound, so I know how stubborn it is. This bike is amazing. Holy smokes. Oh. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Morning. These are some of my favorite trails coming up. Another little flat section. That's one thing I've noticed this bike is super good at is those tight getting around stuff sections like we just weave through back there. You just point and shoot with this thing. I guess it's, you know, XC bike characteristics. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I was kind of expecting this bike to be a little too darty, being as it's, you know, older geometry from 2009, but it's actually pretty stable, even on downhill sections. And I guess I did bump the travel up 20 mil. This bike came with an 80 mil fork on it, so it probably does slacken it a hair. I don't know how much, but it also would have raised the bottom bracket. That's one thing I'm noticing. No pedal strikes. I get a lot of pedal strikes on the Ripmo in here, but that's, you know, super modern, low and slack enduro monster. So you expect to get a little more strikes with a bike like that. So that's, you know, I mean, that's why this is an XC bike and that's enduro, you know. Gosh, this is just shocking me. Be really interested to see what my Strava numbers are when we get back. Let's talk about grips. These Marque grips that I got on Amazon. Wow. I like them better than my P&Ws. I picked them specifically because I used to run ODI Pro Elites on my Mojo, and they were kind of hard to come by when I was building up the Ripmo, so I went with those P&W grips that I've got on it, and those are good, but I get a little pain in my palms when I ride with those, and I think it's because they're not convex like this is, and like the ODI is, the Pro Elite. They've got kind of a bump here, and just a little more cushion. I like it. I like these grips a lot. I'll link those in the video if you wanted to check those out. They were cheap. I don't remember how much they were, but I might be buying a pair for my abs. To be honest, they're so good. All right. This is the really fun downhill section. And we got hero dirt out here today, especially out here in Cherokee. Seneca's a little slick. This is Primo. A little chain slap. I need to get that. I need to get a guard back there. Oh my God, this thing fucking flies. Holy shit. Oh my God, it's so fast. These Conti X Kings are pretty good too, I gotta say. Thanks, Core Dog. Nothing like free tires. Holy smokes. This thing is fast. Brakes work. Coming up on somebody with a dog up here. Yeah, coming up. How y'all doing?
Yeah, good. You good?
Solid. All right. Big roll. Big drop. All right. This is not. Okay, this was a cheap bike, but this is not a beginner bike. This bike you could absolutely shred on, basically as hard as you wanted to. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how good this thing is. Wow. I'm so happy right now. I just love it. I love a good deal. And I love that, you know, it just kind of all came together. I appreciate the homeboy that gave us the free frame. And appreciate Joe for these amazing forks for $100. What a deal. What a homie. Thanks Corey for the tires, and thank you Facebook Marketplace for always having deals on spare parts. And I guess thanks to Humana Health Insurance for paying me to ride bicycles. It's been an incredible boost to you know, my mental health and my fitness, and you know, I wish all insurance companies would do that. You know, I track them all on my trusty Garmin watch, and every time I work out I get points, and I could buy whatever I want with them, basically. It's awesome. It's such a good incentive, and hey, you get discounts on your health insurance too for being in shape. So it's just incredible. What an amazing bike. Oh, it's funny because Ashley doesn't know how good this bike is, really. She's never ridden a shitty mountain bike, especially not one off-road. So for this to be her first mountain bike, whoa. It's just so good. Okay, we're coming up to our last tech climb here, and this will be a full lap at Cherokee Park in Seneca, tied together. Here we go. Used to hate that climb. Used to dread it. Oh, and that's a lap at Cherokee Park, Louisville, Kentucky. Woo! What an amazing bike. I can't believe it. Huh? No, I didn't go down. I think this might be my bike now.
Why?
This is good.
You just spent $5,000 on your bike.
I know. I'm kidding.
I was going to say.
It's very good.
I know it is.
This bike is very good.
I know that. I told you.
You are a lucky girl.
I know. I told you that.
Huh?
I said, I know. I told you that I love your bike.
I can't believe how good it is.
I know.
Hold on, let's see what my Strava times were. Whew.
Yeah, I told you it's a great bike. What'd you spend? $300 on it?
Yeah, $289.
Have your own money? Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hold it?
Sure. And I'm like, you can't tell me the $289 bike's better than your $5,000 bike.
No.
Punch it.
Let's see here. Holy crap, I got 4 achievements.
You got something on your arm.
Look at that. PR. Yeah, just stickies. Got a PR at Upper Big Rock and Big Rock to Wilderness.
It's a nice bike.
Can't believe it. This thing's incredible.
I told you.
All right.
For me to be able to be on a mountain bike and not be like, I quit right now.
Mm-hmm.
For me to have done it, this is a good bike. Because I know I was on a shitty bike on the road.
Yeah. Woo!
And I was afraid it was going to be like that, and it wasn't.
All right. You're on camera.
Cool.
All right, so that's the first ride video on Ashley's mountain bike. I think I'm gonna steal it from her. It's pretty fucking good. Pardon my French. It's pretty freaking good. So honestly, can't believe it. Got 4 PRs today. Wow, on a $300 bike. Check you later.